at the bottom it says, everyone can see and hear you.
Hey guys, welcome to Reading Sprints, and welcome if you're watching this later, because Jess is here, so I'm remembering to talk to the people who might be here later. Guys, welcome to Reading Sprints, and welcome if you're watching. Oh, why is there a thing?
That's me. I'm fixing it. Sorry.
I don't like hearing myself like that. Yeah. And these are most of the co-hosts for the Alloy of Law thing. And I don't know if everyone here is reading Alloy of Law tonight or reading other things or being productive or anything like that. So whatever you're reading, put it in the chat. And then I guess we can talk about if we're reading Alloy of Law or something else. So Alan, what are you doing?
I mean, I'm reading Alloy of Law. Here's the thing. I need to read this during the sprint and not work, which is what I'm currently like.
And you said you were at chapter 2?
Yeah, 6 months later. Is every chapter going to be like a new entry in his diary? Like, oh, the next one's like 4 months later. And then he's like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm going to go join a traveling circus because I'm sad.
Yeah, wait, is that actually what it's about?
No. I honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember Wayne, or no, it's Wax, being like my favorite thing.
How old is he when he's running away?
What it is like it's like great value brand Batman. What it is what we're doing currently. He's just like, no, I can't do it anymore.
I mean, he is kind of like a weird Batman now that you say that.
My responsibility. I have to manage Wayne Enterprises or Wax Enterprises, I guess.
Roger, are you reading Alloy of Law?
Yeah, I'm just gonna read it on my Kindle because I just got home, so I walked in like 85-degree weather to get here. So I'm like, I'm not gonna pick up the physical book. I'm gonna get grease on my Kindle.
Well, that's why I have a nice book cover. My book is protected, but I actually just have these in hardback, so this is how it is. What about you, Sean and Elle?
I have Alloy of Law. Here it is.
I'm gonna be the weirdo of the group. I'm reading a book called Religion and Science. By
always count on you, Sean.
By a physicist / theologian, but he has since passed on. He died in 2013.
When was that published? It actually sounds kind of interesting.
I told him, like, Angela's gonna want.
I think originally maybe 80s, but this is the revised edition. So I think this is maybe 2000 somewhere.
Okay. How long is it? That looked like kind of thick, but maybe I was
not
just
too bad. I think it's like 300 pages.
Okay.
Lots of notes in the back.
Is that the essays one? The collection of essays?
No.
Oh, or lectures or something.
Well, yes. It's there's a part 2. I guess I could say it. There's a volume 2. It's made up of his lectures that he gave.
Hello. Also, this is for you, Alan. Evie's judging you. I don't know why, but
yeah.
And Jess, what are you reading?
Oh my gosh.
Is there a cat?
It's not my cat.
She brought me her mouse. She wants me to play fat.
It's usually
I was like, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm like, I could be hearing things. I don't know. I'm reading Alloy of Law. I don't know where my Kindle is, so I'm gonna have to read it on my phone until I figure that out.
Hey, Curtis. This is actually a college friend who's in the chat. So.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, no. So I don't really have any other thoughts. I read the prologue, and then Roger shamed me into pausing because I wanted to read it, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna have it finished by your reading sprints," which I would have if I kept reading it. So I stopped, so I could read it today.
I'll add in Angela. Roger makes fun of me because I'm terrible with buddy reads because I tend to read things in 1 or 2 sittings. So then everybody will be reading something little by little, and they're like, "Elle, have you started it?" I'll be like, "No, not yet." And then I'll message later like, "Oh, I read it." So
yes.
Well, you've already finished it. So Guns of Empire, which I feel like I should know what that book is. What does the cover look like?
Book 4? Is that book 4 of Shadow Campaigns?
I don't know. You would know that answer, wouldn't you?
I mean, I'm asking Urza because I think that's correct, but I don't want to get up and go.
It is a Shadow Campaign book. Whether I can
yes,
confirm.
It's number 4. If it's a Shadow Campaign book, it's number 4. Guns of Empire is my favorite one. Nice. I'm so behind. Like
been confirmed.
Like I want to read Price of Valor or Fury Song, but instead I'm following Wax.
No one forced you to be here.
Angela, I don't have any friends anymore. If I don't do this, I'll never talk to anybody. This is all I have. I have to read it.
Okay, but I just want it known that I did not force Alan into this.
No.
He forced me into Jeopardy, but I didn't force him into this.
I need human contact. I've been so long with nothing but teenagers, and then my own.
Which are not, they don't count as human.
No, they're not. They're proto-humans. They will one day be humans.
Oh, The Vanished Birds is so good. I'm so jealous you're rereading it, Evie. That's a book I need to reread.
Oh, that's the same author who has The Spear Cuts Through Water, is that right?
Yeah. Read it when you want something lyrical, I think, is the good way. And I know you don't like sci-fi that much, but I think you might like that one. It's not as it's very soft sci-fi, so it's not about technical jargon or anything like that. It almost feels magical realism at times.
Which one? The Vanished Birds or the new one?
The Vanished Birds. I don't know about the new one. Evie's read the new one. I want to own it, so I didn't even ask for an arc. I'm like, I'll just wait until it happens. Should be reading blah, blah, blah. Gloomhaven! Yay! For those who don't play board games. That's a very intense board game.
I've heard about Gloomhaven. We currently have Aeon's End on our kitchen table.
Oh, that's a fun board game.
Yeah, it's really fun, but I haven't played Gloomhaven before.
I hear the Gloomhaven computer game is actually really good. So if you ever wanted to play, I heard that that's actually a really good implementation of it without needing to buy the $200 box. And
right.
We haven't played Gloomhaven in over a month because I have one person who cancels every other Tuesday we're supposed to play, and every Tuesday we're like, everybody good for Tuesday, and he cancels the day of every time.
I dislike that.
Oh, I dislike it strong.
$200?
There's two versions of it. One's more affordable. It's called Jaws of the Lion, but the base box is $200. Yes.
Jaws of the Lion
For a board game?
Correct.
It's a huge board game, and my friends and I, we've been playing mostly every other Tuesday, and we've been playing for over a year.
It is worth the money if you play it consistently with people.
So many hours out of it.
But good luck trying to get, because you got to play. You're supposed to play with the same people. So good luck getting a bunch of adults to keep a schedule.
I don't have in real person friends, so that would never work in real life.
No,
I don't have those.
No.
All my friends are in the computer.
That's also why Jess is here. Alan and Jess here for the same reasons.
Seriously.
What's the judgment, Jess, of the for a board game?
I just 200. I just have never heard that, but I really didn't know the world of board games till talking to Angela. I didn't know it went beyond a couple staples. I didn't know.
Well, and with shipping now, everything's worth that $200 price was pre-COVID. Nowadays, a game that big would probably be $250 or $300 because of shipping, because it's all made in China and then it has to go on a board, and everything's messed up.
I
watched too much
explaining shipping to us, Angela.
Before BookTube, all I did was watch board game content. That's all I did. It's a smaller part of the internet than BookTube, believe it or not.
Such a wild world out there. I don't know.
We have a really fun little board game shop not far from us. Do they have Gloomhaven?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. If it's in print, they have it usually. Also, I just want to answer this person's question. Yes, we're reading a book a month. So this month is Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, etc. And then Roger did bring up, and I'll talk about it more in the live show. We'll probably actually, for the Bands of Mourning live show, talk about that and Secrets of Mistborn, which was published after Bands of Mourning.
I haven't read that.
You don't have to yet. You're not supposed to. It was published after Bands of Mourning.
No,
You're supposed to read it in October.
You just said in the live show for the second book, third book,
third book.
So you're making me read two things for that?
You don't have to. You don't have to do it.
But we're gonna talk about it, so I would have to.
Okay,
you can leave. We can talk about Bands of Mourning first, and then you can piece.
Just to be clear, Mistborn's Secret History is tiny.
It's 100 pages.
It would take no time to read it.
I think in the last month, or since August has started, I have read 35 pages. That is what I have read in August.
Well, we'll make it work. We'll for sure talk about Bands of Mourning first, and then you can piece out. But I do think Roger's right that we probably need that context maybe for the last one.
All right.
Maybe. Also,
Roger's... Is that in Arcanum Unbound? Is it in there?
Yes.
Okay.
You own it.
Oh, okay, good.
Evie said teenagers are fools. I'm behind on comments because our conversation was interesting. So sorry, everyone. I'm really bad at this.
Board
Someone
game
was laughing.
conversation.
Oh God. Yeah. No, it's the equivalent of like you don't want to have a DM sort of thing.
That's why I like
yeah.
Aeon's End, because you can play it with 2 people. It's ridiculously hard with 2 people, but you can play it with 2 people.
No, I love board games, and the way I usually rationalize purchasing them, because they usually are like $60 to $100, is like if I play it with 3 or 4 people, that's like about as how much money we would spend going to a movie. Granted, I live in Boston, so movies are like $17 a ticket.
Oh, it's the same here.
It was cheaper in Ohio, but yeah. Also, Alan, people are sending you love. What's wrong with the audio noise? Someone explain. Is anyone else hearing anything?
Someone sounds like they're in a wind tunnel.
Yeah, this sounds like wind.
It's not me. I don't have a fan on. I have no wind. I think it might be Roger.
Maybe. I'll turn off my headset real quick and see if that fixes it.
Okay. Hey, Ben. So yeah, how long do you guys want to sprint for the first one? Do you guys have preferences? Jess knows my preference, but I'm flexible.
Yes.
Yes. I think we fixed it, but let us know and we can adjust.
What's your preference, Angela?
I mean, minimum for me is usually 30 minutes because I have a very distracted brain, and so I usually need a little time to get into things. I'm a slow reader, so like 30 minutes is like maybe 20.
You're a slow reader, Angela?
No. I read a lot because I spend a lot of time reading. That's not fast reading. That's just I spend a lot of time.
All right.
That's a good enough answer for Alan.
He's like, oh, okay, makes sense.
All right.
Well, because I only read like maybe a page a minute, and that's my fastest speed. I don't think that's fast.
You read per
I still
diem.
think that's fast.
Per day, I like to try and read 2 hours a day if I can.
The math ain't math and Angela, because you'd be reading a lot more than what these numbers here. So I think
if I am at work and I can listen to an audiobook, it's more. But I trust me, I'll tell you, when we start this sprint, I'll tell you what page I started at, what page I ended at. I'm not a fast reader. I'm an average speed reader.
It's the audiobook time that really ranks things up.
I'm going to go quit my job and find one I can listen to a freaking audiobook in, because that's how everyone does it. It's like, I'm at work and I can listen to an audiobook. It's like, I want a job.
No, it is game-changing. Audiobooks, game-changing. It's truly.
Yeah, but I can only listen to an audiobook to and from work. So it's like 30 minutes a day. You know what? I'm not going to teach this week. Next week, I'm just going to listen to an audiobook. And I'm just going to hand them a worksheet and then pretend like I'm paying attention.
And make sure you do it at 3 times audio, because that's where the best retention is for you, especially as a new audio reader. That's where it is.
No, I got 1.5, and that's the best I can do.
I listened to The Blood Trials at 3 times speed, and Jess relates to this because I just wanted that book to be done.
I can listen
I don't
to
ever get that high until it's like.
I mean, you're basically skim reading at that
really
point.
Slow, but I was like, "Come on, let's end this."
Evie's judging you again, Alan. Just so you know.
I will say, Alan, I used to not even be able to increase it past 1 because I thought it sounded strange, and now I listen really fast.
Really?
I'm now at 2.5.
I can do 1.5 when the narrator talks really slowly. And
I have a hard time when they don't have American accents.
Yes.
There's some audiobook narrators, especially kind of Scottish or a certain kind of English accent, sped up is difficult. But Michael Kramer, for sure, I can speed up because he reads really slow anyway.
I'm convinced Wheel of Time is why I can read audiobooks faster, because I just keep cranking it up because I'm like, when do we hit the point when you sound like a human? Now, I will say, so someone is bringing this up. It doesn't usually happen to me, but I also didn't used to be able to watch YouTube videos at 2 times speed, and now it feels weird to me when I watch someone at 1 time speed on YouTube.
I can't believe people watch YouTube videos at 2 times speed, and it kind of offends me. I'm like, well, goddamn, am I that boring to you that you have to watch me at 1.25, 2 times speed?
I don't
like. I listen to myself when I do that with editing, but like, I was like, who watches YouTube videos on 2 times speed?
I was going to say, I will listen to myself sped up as fast as it'll go just to watch through the video really quick.
But people don't sound like
But
themselves.
No, not other people. I watch other people at one time. And also, usually for audiobooks, I don't really listen to audiobooks for the emotion necessarily, if that makes sense. But I still think it's like a muscle you work toward.
Yeah, no, it's
No, I mean, I still agree. If the author or if the narrator is like working hard to give a like good performance, you lose a lot of that when you speed the stuff up just to get the story. So it kind of depends on what you're in the audiobook for.
It also depends on the narrator, though, because like I was talking to a friend about this the other day because I'm listening to a middle grade right now called Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun, and just middle grade narrators are so much better than adult narrators. Like, oh my god, the acting they put into it, and like I'm listening to it at 2.5 speed, and I'm like, this is so good. I feel like I'm in a movie. So I think it just depends also on the narrator, because like I don't think I'd get more out of a Michael Kramer narration at 1x speed versus 2.5.
Well, for me, sometimes I lose stuff if it feels too slow because it doesn't sound like how any human being talks. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but 3x speed also doesn't sound like how humans talk.
No, that's true too. I think there's a certain point that if you're listening to the audiobook for the performance of the audiobook, I think that's different than like I know somebody pointed out immersion reading earlier, which is what I'll be doing. And that for me, if I'm listening to the audiobook and reading, it almost frustrates me when my internal voice I know will read faster than the narrator. So then it becomes a distraction and you almost feel like you have to. But I do think it's an ear training thing and as you pointed out, Angela, it depends on the narrator. Some narrators, like for Engines of Empire, there were, I think 5 different ones for all the perspectives. Alan would know also. And there were some that I'm like, oh, this narrator's amazing. And then when I slowed it down to 1x speed to show Sean how cool the narrators were, I was like, wait, this one's not as cool as I thought. Because when they're slower, I just didn't like the voice as much. So I think that's kind of interesting too, that some voices, audiobook narrators, if I understand correctly, narrate knowing some people are going to speed it up. So they put a lot of pause and they make sure everything is very, very clear so that if it's sped up, you can still understand.
Yeah. But you do whatever's right for you. There's actually no correct speed at which to use audiobooks. As long as we all agree that audiobooks are reading, I'm cool. So.
The only ones I really don't speed up very much are when it's graphic audio, when they have like the sound effects and the music and stuff. Then I'm like, no, we're going like 1.5 maybe.
Right, because that is so much of a performance.
Yeah. It is weird because like I would never actually imagine like speeding up a song. But then I talked to my sibling and they like speed up Netflix shows that they know really well. Like if they're like rewatching an episode of like Arrow or something. And I'm like, I don't understand that. I'm not quite there.
What's everybody in such a rush for? Just enjoy it. Take your damn time.
Slow down. Sheesh.
All right. So I think we'll start. All right. Let's start our first sprint in like a minute and we'll go for 40. And I'm going to use a timer for once in my life because I tried that out with patron sprints. Actually, I found a 45-minute timer. So we're going to do 45 minutes.
I do the one that's all pastel colored. It's very pretty.
Well, this one has a waterfall, so it's speaking to me at the moment. Let's see if I can do this.
We need a waterfall.
There's some that I think are pretty, but then they distract me when I see like movement on the computer. Because I always have an ambiance already on my TV. So if there's something there and then something here.
You live your best life, truly. Like, I can't even imagine being that put together. Like, let's see. All right, let's see if I need to share my screen. I'm so much better at Zoom than I am anything else. Like, it's not good. All right, let's see. Am I doing this right? Nope, it's not sharing it yet. Add this to the stream. Hey, look at us.
Ooh.
I know. Look at what I've done. I feel so technologically savvy. And we still have Sean. We haven't cut him from the frame somehow. So that's,
Woohoo. Sean.
Hot take. Oh, Evie with the hot take. Listening is not reading. It is consuming a story, though. Okay. I will just, I don't know. I mean, I guess if we're talking about definitions of is reading just using your eyes to consume written words, but then is Braille reading? I don't really know. So, but in terms of your brain, once you have words that have gone into your brain, it goes through the same processes.
I was just going to say, I've heard that it uses the same part of the brain.
Yeah, once you've gotten the word, whether it's through touch, eye, or ear, then it goes to the same part of your brain to be processed. So,
but I do understand some people have said Stephen Pacey is so good that it affects their enjoyment on a plus side. They end up liking First Law more. So I think a good narrator can kind of take it to that next level, or it can frustrate you if you find the narrator's frustrating.
A Game of Thrones.
Yeah, 'cause it's
that
probably,
narrator
like-
is awful.
Regardless, as long as we're not gatekeeping that. So I'm going to start this timer. And we're going to read these books. And I'll tell you guys how many pages I read in this time. And it won't be that many. And Alan will believe me that I am a slow reader.
Commence.
hello. I don't know if that's creepy or not. Still haven't figured that out. So, you know.
Sean's really sucked in. He doesn't want to come back.
Hi, everyone who joined while we were reading. Someone did ask if you're allowed to read other things. Yes, you can do whatever you want.
Absolutely not. We're gonna find you.
Kick you out.
Hi, Amanda. I mean, I read 2 chapters and I was really happy. I read 37 pages, so that's how slow of a reader I am. I did check. But also, one of them was like, if you haven't read Alloy of Law, they have like parts of it that are like, it's like not quite mixed media because I don't think it really matters. But it's like the news clippings. So I was reading this.
And it's the hardback starts on page 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yup. Oh, I forget the map's so cool. I was showing Alan earlier that my copy is so old that back when I bought it, this is how many books Sanderson had written. It all fit on one page. Granted, it didn't count like Alcatraz. I don't think that Alcatraz in there. Or
His author picture is him really young as well.
yeah, those are really fun. Finished Life of Melody. I don't know what that is, but someone tell me.
It's a graphic novel that is like a cute slice of life queer romance.
Nice. How much did you guys read? Did you have fun? I had a blast. I was in my coziest reread mode.
21 pages, but that's because most of the time it took me like 20 minutes to stop working. You know, like, oh, and then I had children message me in the Discord, Mithy Walker. And then I read.
You have a Discord with your children? You need some more boundaries, man.
No. So I have a Discord. I have a Discord for the club,
Okay.
because it's much, much easier to keep in contact than using like the like apps that they give for teachers. And there are too many announcements, so it's just easier. But yes, it does give them free access to me, which is annoying.
I like how you made them sound like toddlers.
That's what they sound like. Miss Walker. That's what they sound like.
I'm sure that's
what they
exactly
sound like
true.
when you're reading the words on Discord.
Do what?
That's what they sound like when you're reading their messages on Discord.
Correct.
That's your internal narrator.
Correct. Miss Walker, what are we gonna do?
Unfortunately, Alan started school 2 days ago. His summer has been over for a while because teachers usually have to go in a week or two before
My
classes.
first day was the first.
Yeah. 27 pages in Shadows of Self. I think that one might be my least favorite. I'm not sure. We'll see on this read if it's my least favorite still. But.
Okay, so hold on. I just met Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my face.
Okay. I knew that was going to happen. I'm
You
ignoring
and Elle feel very similarly about it.
I literally posted on my Instagram one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
truly, I've read the same pages as you tonight, and we just had. You can see the video. I'm like laughing and smiling. I'm having a good time.
I read. So perhaps you should, Starrett replied. Yes. How's your health? Suitable. So is Waxilium, Wayne added. They all turned to him. You know, he said, he's wearing a suit and all.
Anyways, Jess, how are you? I'm just going to mute Alan now. How are you, Jess?
Good. I mean, I just read the prologue and the first chapter, and then I have like 8 minutes left, so I watch TikToks. But
I'm sorry, I'm spoiling the good stuff.
Well, this is a
the prologue.
reread.
I forgot what happened. I don't want to say, And I was like, oh, I forgot. And so it's sad for me.
Yeah.
I feel like that for me, that prologue is pretty unforgettable because it's most of the series. I feel like is a lot happier and campier than First Era, but that prologue, you're like, dude, what the heck? Because it's really than the prologue.
Yay, Alloy of Law. Someone starting Graceling. I've never read that series. I never know if I will. It's like one of those young adult series that I see people like loving or being just met on, and I never know. So, hello, welcome.
I will say I find Wayne much more obnoxious, Alan, later.
No, that's not possible.
No, people have a very love-hate relationship with Wayne. I think actually you saying something earlier really pinpointed why I don't mind their dynamic and why I have fun with it. And it reminds me of when I used to watch the Batman Robin like TV show from the 60s.
Oh.
And like I'm just having a fun time. Like we're not going to say that dialogue was great, right? Like
The problem is like I don't mind camp and I don't mind swashbuckling.
I'm not convinced, honestly.
It feels like I'm reading a cartoon. Like it feels like a cartoon in places, and that's where I draw the line. Like when we're like,
Ben, DNF it. I wished I'd DNF Gideon the Ninth, and no one told me. So I'm telling you, put it away. Get rid of it.
Ben,
I DNF'd my first book last week, ever.
I'm so
What'd you
proud of
DNF?
you, Roger.
The Book of Gothel.
I
Oh,
like that book a
Ella's
lot.
just telling me she thinks I'll like it.
I don't even know what that book
It's
is
very
about.
historical fantasy and spends a lot of time talking about kind of like the experience of being a woman at that time and midwifery and stuff. And that's just not what I was there for. I was there for like cool witch origin story, and I got a lot more details about like being preggo than I necessarily wanted at the moment in my life.
Not the main character being pregnant. She's a midwife, so there's like the knowledge of women when they are pregnant and things like that.
This cover is hideous.
And her like using an oil to try to bring on her period. Like there's some weird stuff that was like, nope, I'm good. I read 63% of it.
Well, luckily, whatever you've said so far hasn't deterred me. So I'm still going to go into it. I'm pretty excited. But I'm so happy for you, Ben. I'm really proud of you. Because I think that Gideon the Ninth works for a very specific set of readers, and they love it. And then everyone else does not. I think it's like the opposite. Because Jess, you forced yourself to finish it, didn't you?
I sure did. I really wanted. I wanted to be in that. Like when there's a book that's very like 75% of people don't vibe with it, and 25. I want so badly to be in that minority percentage. I want to be in that club. You know, I want to be like, you're wrong, and I was just like, what?
I see What Moves the Dead. That one was creepy. It's a good, just creepy book to read in an evening because it's very short.
Oh, is that the new T. Kingfisher one?
Mm-hmm.
Alan, you freaked me out. I thought someone stole my YouTube channel. I was like, who's commenting?
That happened to me the other day, and I was very confused when it happened.
It's because Alan and I are in the same StreamYard club now, I think. So, yep. I mean, I think Gideon the Ninth just wasn't marketed well for me. And then once I accepted it for what it was as a book, I was like, well, I'm just not vibing with what the project of this book is. So I'm so happy you love it. And also there's those new editions coming out. Isn't Illumicrate doing them or something? They look pretty.
Yes, they're very cool.
Meanwhile, will I ever get a Broken Earth? No, I will never get a Broken Earth. It will never happen.
What company is it that did technically do them? The really expensive one.
Subterranean Press.
Yes.
Which you can get those covers if they're Finnish. I haven't decided because the Finnish covers, like the Finnish translation, are those covers. So I've thought about it. But I haven't gotten to your level, Elle, of buying your favorite covers in a different language that I'll never read. I haven't gotten there.
It is a different level of obsession.
I mean, I'm jealous of your Witcher covers, and I'm this close to buying the new Witcher covers, even though I don't like the novels because they're so pretty.
That's what Roger.
I'm like, maybe I should reread them. And
We should
I'll
read
like
it better,
them
Roger. You want to read it better with me next year?
Let's do it. Because like I'm like, I don't remember anything about them. I remember very little, but now I'm like, maybe if I reread them, I'll like them enough that I can justify to myself buying them.
I still think the short stories, Baptism of Fire, and I actually quite like the sidequel, we'll call it. I think those are the best ones. But beyond that, most of the books in the series itself they don't have a whole lot of Geralt, which is to its detriment.
Yeah, I think I for sure could only like it more in a reread because I know that the 5 books are not about The Witcher or even really Ciri. It's a weird, like, global political story. It's very different than what you think it's going to be.
Yes, very much.
They're so pretty, right? Like, they're just so pretty. Like, it's like art. But Jess keeps telling me not to do that to myself. So.
Don't do it.
It's okay. We can do it together. And then if
Yeah,
we both
we're
hate
just
it, we
gonna
can
enable.
DNF together.
Well, it makes me really excited because I follow some of those artists. So to see their artwork on covers is, I think, really fun.
It's not Roger's cat this time.
No, because she's here. She's just chilling.
My cat's just sleeping in her carrier across the way from me.
Aw.
So. Alan, where's your cats?
To be clear,
I don't know if the new ones have this.
those are the new paperbacks that have the Netflix. The new hardcovers that are coming out don't have it.
Yeah, there's like hardcovers that they like commissioned a different artist for each one, and they're meant to match the size of the illustrated ones, which I will say the illustrated editions for the price don't have as many pictures as I would expect. So I was looking at them at the store and I was like, there's only like 7 pictures. So I don't know. Because it's like $50.
It's not 50. It shouldn't be $50.
Maybe it was only 40. I don't know. It was really rough. And I actually like my edition of The Last Wish, which I have like the Barnes & Noble little hardcover. And I kind of like it.
I like that one too. I don't feel like it was that much when I got it. Whoops, I'm typing in Barnes & Noble on as if it's an app I have. I know a lot of people got it when Barnes & Noble did that half off hardcover sale.
Yeah, I usually get them from my local store, and unfortunately, since they're indie, they don't normally get to do those type of deals.
Right. That makes sense. But yeah, I thought it was cheaper than that.
No, yeah, I mean, because I looked at it, it's like, well, if it's $30, which is normally, a hardcover price when it's on the higher end, like a Stormlight book, it's like $30. I don't know. So, Jess, what was the best TikTok video you saw during your reading sprint?
So there's this ongoing thing. Obviously, there's this thing on the internet, this like, I don't want to say debate or battle. I don't know what you categorize it in, but constant conversations about millennials and like either it's Gen Z calling us super old and like out of touch or something, or, people reacting to or boomers saying that we're like these little children, blah, blah, blah. It's really weird. And this one TikTok where she was saying millennials are aging out of the internet. And she just was like, not that they can't use the internet, but like, the internet as we know it, as we grew up with, is changing, which is, it's changing. But like, I don't know. It was really weird. And then this girl stitched the TikTok and was like, can y'all just leave us alone? Like, I don't understand why they're all these things.
They don't even know how to code in HTML. Did they make their own Neopets page or MySpace page? I don't know what they did, but I put in some work.
And then she compared Gen Z to boomers because she was like, they're basically just a new generation of boomers because of how she's like, I always see them in comment sections and trying to get people fired and all these different things. And I was like, wait, I don't have time to go down the wormhole right now, but I need further explanation. And anyway, I'm mad at people coming from millennials. Let us be with side parts, and I'm going to keep my goddamn skinny jeans, okay?
I just think it's funny because to me, it's like, oh, wow, good job. You recognize that people from different generations have different trends. Like, that's all it comes down to, right?
Yeah, literally.
My dad, I remember there was this kind of snooty girl cashier at Target one time where my sister, the girl was like, I really like your outfit to my sister. And my dad jokingly is like, what about my outfit? Like just being silly. And he was wearing just jeans and plaid. She's like, I don't really like jeans and plaid. And he was like, well, you know what? It always comes back in style, like being silly because he was silly. And it does. So I just like some of the jeans that are in that are trendy right now. I'm like, are we back in the 90s? Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, that's how it is. I tried, and it works for certain people. I tried the mom jeans. I look terrible. Yeah, she said this in there too, and I was like, okay, but I prefer that because I don't know how many things I watch where they have already started talking before the thing is recording, and so you don't get the first word, okay? So we are wise, but also the word chuggy is the worst word created in existence, and I wish I could scrub it out of my brain. It's so stupid. Sorry.
I've never heard that word.
I've never heard that word.
I've heard it on TikTok, and I was like,
what does it mean?
It's like, I don't know, like cringe, not cool. Like, okay. I forgot what word.
It means it is an American neologism coined in 2013, allegedly by Zoomers, as a pejorative description of lifestyle trends associated with the early 2010s and millennial. This aesthetic has been described as the opposite of trendy, trying too hard.
Yeah, ooh, that just comes from my entire college experience, like early 2010. It's my entire college life. All right.
I'd be happy if I never
Yeah.
heard that word again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
using
so they're
I'm gonna use
always
it
coming for
on
us.
Monday.
I didn't know what the millennial pause was until I think someone wrote about it in the Atlantic, and that felt like the oldest thing I could possibly say. Is like, what's the millennial pause? I want to read it in my.
I don't understand why it's a bad thing to check to make sure you're live. I don't understand.
I don't understand why anybody wouldn't.
I thought it was a play on the word menopause, but with the word millennial.
So do people just hit a button and then immediately start talking without?
Yes.
Yes.
And they're
I
You
don't
know how
know.
many times I've pressed a button on my phone to realize that I in no way pressed the actual button on my phone?
I'm angry.
hate
I just also, as a millennial, and maybe this is me showing my age, but I hate when there are so many conversations about things or articles, and it's like, well, Gen Z is really like, they've decided they're not working for these companies, or like all different things. I'm like, millennials are doing the same thing. It depends, not all of them, but like, this is not the first generation to decide they don't want to work for a company for 40 years. This is not the first group of people to decide they don't want to be like exploited or whatever. I don't know. I guess I'm just a grumpy old woman, but I'm just like, they didn't do everything first. Okay. Whatever.
I've accepted that I am both a small child and an old woman at the same time. And
yes.
I'm trendy or cool at any point in my life.
Well, like
from
one of the main complaints for Nettle and Bone is the main character Mara. Some people don't think reads like a 30-year-old because they think it reads too young. It's like, oh no, Mara is me. That's me. I have put together on the outside, and on the inside, I am a child. And I don't know what I'm doing.
Acts too young.
Yeah, they don't think she reads like a 30-year-old. And I'm like, I don't know. I hyper-identify with Mara and Nettle and Bone.
I mean, I think part of getting older is realizing that you never actually feel as old as you thought that age was. Does that make sense? Like when you're 17, 30 is a person who's got their life together and they're a grown up. And I'm almost 30 and I feel when I'll be like, they're an adult. And I'll be like, well, I mean, like, what I'm saying, like older than us. Because you just never feel like you're fully grown. And that's why you start aching and you have a hard time going to sleep. You have to get up to go to the bathroom at night. You're like, when did this happen? Because I still feel like I'm too young for this.
My mom had 3 kids at my age, and I just am like, I'm tired with my dog. That's all I can do.
Yes, no, I mean, exactly to the comment when you were 15, you thought 30. Or if you're an 18-year-old and an adult is hitting on you and you're like, ugh, what's this old person doing flirting with me? And they're not that much older than you, but you just have this perception.
Yeah. I don't know. But no, Jess, my mom had me when she was 27 and I'm almost 30. And I'm just like, huh, okay, here I am. My mom also had a house. I'm like, oh, it must be nice.
My mom had me at 22. And when I was 22, I was like,
oh no, 22-year-old me should not have been allowed a kid. No.
And every year, I still have Facebook. I don't get on it often, but when I do and people are pregnancy announcements, I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh, it's fine now. We're at like a respectable age to be having children, but I'm still like, oh my God, I'm too young.
I always hate seeing like seniors that just graduated from my class are like, we're having a baby. And they're all like, life is full of surprises. It's like, how are you surprised by that? Like, why are you shocked that this is happening? Like, there are certain things that you can do that makes this likely and certain things that make it unlikely. How are you shocked? Life full of unexpected.
I will say, going to school where I went to school, a lot of people I knew were getting married pretty much right out of high school and starting to have kids because it was a very religious community. And so there are people that went to my high school that now have a lot of kids already. And that's always...
My community was more getting the degree in marriage kind of community. So people more started after college. That was more the trend of you get your degree to find your husband and then you have a kid at like 23. That was more my hometown.
Yeah, there's a very strong religious community that is known for having a lot of kids where I grew up. So they start having...
You can just say it, Elle.
Bad, because I don't want it to come across like I'm
I talk about the Mormons all the time. They love having children.
I got Jess into watching another Mormon thing after Mara got her into more Mormon podcasts. We just all feed the obsession.
One tweeted, they said, I'm going on a reverse mission trip. I'm going to go to Utah to tell them about sinning. And I said, yes, I'm ready.
I will say there was a change a little bit because around the time I was leaving high school, I think they lowered the age that girls could go on missions. And so a lot of girls were going on missions and actually waiting to get married. And that started to happen around when I was graduating high school. So it's not as big of a thing as when my sister is 5 years older than me. A lot of people she knew were definitely having kids right out of high school.
Also, we can keep talking, but I think we'll start our next sprint at the 30, just so people know.
I will. Sean and I are probably going to only be here for that one. Yeah, but we'll chit chat until.
Well, then we can chit chat a little longer because you guys will be leaving us. How is your book, Sean? I haven't heard about it, and that's the one I'm interested in because I already know about Alloy Law.
So I don't want to say how many pages I read. My excuse is it's tiny font, really big.
2
pages. More than that, more than 2 or
10.
It's pretty dense, but it's good. A lot of the word paradigm was used a lot, and I was like, "This is a lot of use of the word paradigm." Even for me, I
Paradigm?
Just switch up the pronunciation.
Yeah. Just for you, a Mormon comment.
I mean, okay, so now that we're talking about Mormons, my best friend in high school, when she graduated, she married this Mormon guy. They moved to Utah. Within 6 months, they were divorced, and she was back in California. And just like the stories, it's an interesting place.
Yeah,
I would love to know more.
Mentioned before, a lot of my classes, I'd be one of maybe a couple kids that wasn't, and we'd sometimes have 40 kids in a class. So, and there's go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say there's a temple built not too far from like my house, like not the church but the temple, and it was kind of cool because people could look through it before it was dedicated, but then once it's dedicated, then there's rules as to who can go in. Jess's face.
No, I was reading some of the comments, but
yeah, I was reading some of them too.
I love Wes's comment. This brings out all the literature. Can I ask you a few questions? I was watching. I need to finish it, but I can't remember what it was called. But it was a mini series on Amazon Prime, I think, and it was about queer people who grew up in the Mormon church, and then they were telling their stories of coming to terms with their sexuality and stuff. I think I watched maybe 2 episodes and I just was boo-hooing. So I need to get back to that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess once I consume all of the Mormon thing, I'll move on to another. Maybe I'll get back deep into Catholicism.
It's kind of fitting we talk about Mormonism since Sanderson's Mormon. I'm not sure. It's kind of not as disconnected as I think we thought it was.
It makes, I feel, when I'm watching Mormon things and then I think about Sanderson, it
it's really different. It's really interesting how he chooses to focus on religion in his works.
I just wish it's because a lot of people are like, I don't want to read Sanderson because of, and which is very valid. I just am like, Brandon, can we talk? Can we talk, Brandon? I don't know. It's a struggle.
Yes. I think it's hard too because perception of any given religion and what the majority is like within that religion or what the loudest voices are like isn't always what everyone is like. And it's not till you sort of get to know people and see the differences. But there are also always extreme views within any group.
Yeah. I feel like, he probably was more closed-minded, but has been better. I think the biggest thing that comes in is when the people where I watch things and they talk about the tithing. and you know what that money goes through what the Mormon church uses their money for, then I'm like,
if I did that, I'd have to also not read anything by like Catholic authors. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just at that point,
I know. I
just
look.
so hard.
I spent all my money on the Year of Sanderson. Look, I'm just telling you, I'm conflicted.
The Year of Sanderson was announced the day before I defended, and if people didn't think I bought that instantly as like some serotonin,
yeah, I'm excited to get my mail all next year. Mm-hmm.
I always forget Stephanie Meyer is also Mormon. I always forget. It makes sense.
Yikes.
But I always forget.
There was a girl I knew who worked at a bookstore that I think was run by someone who was Mormon, and the girl I knew was Mormon, and she was saying Stephanie Meyer would come in and move her books to be in the front.
As if her books needed help.
Oh, hola!
Hola.
I'm just gonna keep this typo up here for a minute.
Will be international for you, Jashana. Korean. Oh.
Hold on, Gryans.
I really like it. I hate when I make typos because on my phone when I type, I don't have autocorrect on because autocorrect always changes food to good for me, and I hate it, which means my typos always make it out there. It's a mess.
Sometimes it's fun.
Wait, yes. Wait, Kelly's comment, you are correct. It's Mormon No More on Hulu. I thought it was on Amazon. Yes. That one.
Okay. Deshauna, are you reading? Are you with your cat? What are you doing? Tell us. People want to know. Actually, just me.
Lily! Lily pets.
I love your cat so much. One of Deshauna's cats has this tail that curly cues, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this tail.
Like Luna Bears.
Yeah, but I expect it from a dog like Luna Bear. I don't expect it from a cat.
Why are you texting people about math?
What?
The comment.
Curtis.
Okay, so Curtis is my math friend. He double majored in math and physics, and his love of math truly knows no bounds.
That's a choice. That is definitely a choice.
Mm-hmm,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Roger, you never told us how far you got in Alloy of Law. I just remembered.
I almost finished chapter 2. I think I had like 5 minutes left in it, according to the reading tracker thing.
Nice. I never know if the reading tracker thing works. When I changed to my new Kindle, it's better now, but my old Kindle, like, it was always, like, weird. I'd be like, no, there's no way there's only 2 minutes left in this 30-page chapter. I don't know what you're predicting. But...
Yeah, mine's pretty accurate. But I have a newer Kindle Oasis that I just got for Black Friday last year.
Yeah, my mom got me a Kindle Oasis for my birthday. I don't think it's worth the money, but I do like having it.
I like it because I have big old hands.
Yeah, I like the buttons. But I do think it has all the features of the cheaper Paperwhite, except for the buttons. And I'm like,
it does now. Because they just did the newer generation of Paperwhite that now has equivalent processing speed. But the Paperwhite used to be jankier.
Yeah, but the Paperwhite's still like $50 cheaper.
Yeah.
I still have my crusty Paperwhite that was bitten by Nigel. I don't know what it is.
That little monster. Adorable.
I refuse. I'm not getting a new one.
Jashana. Jashana, are you saying
Did you
you're
have
an elder
actual
millennial?
glasses or were they cans? Don't lie to me. You drink wine out of a can, home slice.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with canned wine. There's nothing
I
wrong with
haven't
it.
tried canned wine.
Yes, there is.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Fine.
I watched them pitch that crap on Shark Tank. Nasty.
Sometimes when you're camping, it's what you have.
You're camping?
Just bring a screw top.
I don't think that she's currently camping.
No, I don't. Oh, Jashana's having sparkling wine.
Leave me alone. See? I knew it. I knew it. Canned.
And they were cans.
Just Sean.
Roger, you know her too well. This is disturbing.
I mean, I was just there like a month ago.
Oh, well, it's wine in the can, and potentially there's a chance.
America's gone too far in a lot of ways.
This
Let's
is where we
just
draw
say
the
this is
line that there's wine in cans. Now it's too much.
It's the lesser evil. I think. I can't even right now. Oh no, the bot found us. I must block it. Go away.
That's why I don't like doing live
Adult
shows.
dating site. Oh.
I got rid of it.
I always feel so bad when there's a really sad news story on Instagram or some kind of news page on Instagram, and the first ones are the bots like, boys, I'm lonely. Those kind, you're like, oh my gosh, some sad story about someone getting shot. And then that's what the comments are.
Champagne is only made in France and maybe a specific city in France. That's all I know.
Champagne.
Isn't it in Champagne?
Potentially.
Like the province.
I just know otherwise it's usually called prosecco or sparkling wine. We've
a few times Sean has to say something.
It's like that's all.
I appreciate it. I know very little.
I know very little about any kind of alcohol, to be clear.
I don't really drink it much anymore. I found other ways of socially decompressing because alcohol and me are not friends. The region of Champagne. There we go. Prosecco's Italian, so I guess sparkling wine is what you say if you are from any other part of the world and have grapes.
Sparkling wine.
Yeah. You can only call it Champagne from the Champagne region of France.
I feel like you could actually do whatever you want. I don't actually think those trademark rules actually apply globally.
No, you have to follow them. So don't be a heathen.
Just Shauna, I love you.
Are you like drunk commenting us? I'm here for it.
I think she is. She said she had 2 cans and she's dead.
I had 2 last night.
You know, Deshaun, I wish you were here for our millennial chat like a whole 10 minutes ago. Oh, I never knew this. I'm going to call it all this now. That's cool. Although it would be kava, right? Yeah.
I just don't like the taste of basically any alcohol. So I'm like, why would I put this in my...
That's so valid. It tastes like shit. It's not good. Beer is like, I don't understand why people like beer because I think I have too many bitter taste bud receptors or something. Whenever I taste a beer, I'm like actually gagging. I'm like, how is this a thing people choose to do?
I don't even like sparkling water. Like
sparkling water is disgusting. Ciders are good. I really like ciders.
Curtis says legally cannot call champagne unless it's from the province of
Wow. How is this? We can't even get people books across lines on the internet, but we can do this with wine. The wine lobby is strong.
It's like how, can't you not sing happy birthday? A lot of restaurants, like, isn't that the reason restaurants always have their own weird little version of
who owns it? Don't the Boy Scouts own the right to happy birthday or something like that? Someone owns the copyright. Like you're theoretically not allowed to sing it.
It's why, but that's why they're always like happy birthday. They always sing some silly version of it.
Curtis.
Sorry, this made me laugh. I don't know. It just makes me laugh.
It's owned by Warner. And it generates $2 million in royalties every year.
Interesting. Yeah, no, this is how I saved. This is why I could get by on a grad student stipend, is I didn't spend money on alcohol, especially in Boston, because Boston doesn't even have happy hour. They made happy hour illegal like 30 years ago because they don't love people. So, yeah, it's not great. My friends nearly they were not prepared for how much a margarita cost here. They were unprepared.
I have an update. Breaking news.
What?
That was from 2008. In 2015, the copyright claim was declared invalid, and Warner had to pay back $14 million in licensing fees. So it is, in fact, in public domain now in the EU and America.
Yes, thank goodness. They're not coming for us.
Correct. So Outback and Chili's can change their stupid song to Happy Birthday.
Thought the FBI was going to bring that.
That's so funny. I hate that growing up in South Carolina and bartending in South Carolina, I think maybe one of the few, I don't know if any other states still do this, but one of the few or only places you can do half shots when you go out. So like, because they used to serve many bottles. And so if you're ordering a round of shots for people, if you wanted 4 shots, you could be like, I do 2 shots 4 ways. But I don't think most states don't split shots. But it definitely is a more economical way to drink versus buying a full shot people.
That's just reminding me of college. We had a bar called Two's, and that was like the shots bar that had all the flavored shots. And one of them was like this tidal wave, and you would literally be splashed with water by the bar when you had this shot. Like I never did it. I never understood the appeal. I got the blueberry pancake, and I still didn't get it. But I went to Ohio State University. There were a lot of bars on High Street. So
I mean, we went to ASU, which is known for being one
yeah,
of the
no, your
most,
school's bigger than mine,
ugh.
which is hard to do.
Yeah, ASU is a big campus, and they let basically anyone there. If you get accepted into ASU, it's not something to be excited about. It's just basically like what everyone is accepted into.
I mean, it's the same for Ohio State, except I don't know if this is the same in Arizona, but Ohio State has satellite schools, so you have to be accepted into Ohio State if you met a certain GPA at high school, but they could send you to a satellite campus instead of the main campus. I don't know if that's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing at ASU.
Yeah, they have like satellite campuses, but they're not like
They have.
not sent there.
Yeah, they have other ones, but yeah, I don't know if you could hear what Sean said.
I heard him. Well,
He's playing with
Also-
Luna. He's giving us sad eyes.
Matt, what is this Waffle House song? Is it like a Waffle House happy birthday song, or is it a specific Waffle House song? Waffle House is great. I just didn't know it had a song. I prefer Waffle House to IHOP. I think they're both kind of bad, but I like Waffle House way more.
Waffle House is clearly superior. IHOP is trash.
I like the waffles at Waffle House.
I like I Heart Pancakes. That's the one that's near here.
We went to ASU too. I'm just saying they accept a lot of people.
In Ohio State wasn't the party school. It was Ohio University. People would consistently travel to Ohio University for the Halloween parties. So yeah.
If you went to Arizona, if you went to ASU, do you also hate Mill Avenue? Because it is one of my least favorite places ever. Driving anywhere around campus, but specifically Mill Avenue is just the worst.
Driving on campuses is so bad. Yeah, and that's because OU got its name first, so that OSU couldn't follow the normal naming convention. To this day, people still, when they meet me, go, "Oh, you went to the Ohio State University?" And I have to roll my eyes internally and go, "Yes, I went to Ohio State University." Because they all think we say the "the" because they've only watched Sunday Night Football. And
That's
I
my
hate
favorite
that.
part of Sunday Night Football.
I hate it so much.
The you. I'm like, yes, I love that part, and then I don't watch the rest.
Yes, through Mill Avenue.
when you go to college and you're told this is the 10% of the intelligence of the country, you really worry because there's a lot of people doing questionable things at college. And you're like, this is the...
ASU especially. They're not really known for.
Really bashing ASU.
I know. I'm sorry. It's just it's a.
They've really turned themselves around. Okay.
Is Sean defending it?
He's not seriously defending it. He's being
Moderately defending it.
certain schools within ASU are good, but I feel like ASU.
Fine business school.
No, private schools are just for the same amount of dumb people. They just have more money by accident. Like they just were born into more money. Unless you got a scholarship. I know a lot of liberal arts schools actually do have some good scholarships. I just went to my state school.
I'm gonna stop bashing where we went to school, and I'll probably leave now.
I was about to say this is a good time because I think we're gonna go into our next sprint. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Say hi to Luna for us.
Oh, we will.
I think I speak for everyone. Oh, bye, Alan. That's me. That's not me.
Bye. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna read more in a minute, but I have to go run some errands first. So
okay, whatever makes you happy.
Bye, everybody.
What will make me happy is if Wayne doesn't make any more of those jokes.
No, that's unfortunate for you. That's going to keep happening. You need to either accept it or stop.
Oh no!
You have to accept it or stop. Those are your options.
Oh no! Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Alan's still here. I think he left. Okay. How long do you guys want to sprint for next?
I can do like a 30-minute one. I'm just waiting for my pizza to get delivered.
Sounds good. Is that good for you too, Elle? Not Elle. Jess. I have issues today, apparently.
No.
Oh, I don't think I've ever confused you for Elle before, so that's a new one.
I mean, we look very similar.
Yeah.
Obviously, spitting images of each other. All right, I have a 30-minute one. It's a nice sunrise, sunset, unsure.
Some kind of solar something. It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying timers. I'm switching it up. Elle knows that, not Elle, Jess knows that I normally don't do this. I don't even talk to Elle that much. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. I talk to Jess like every day.
I love it. Love the timers.
All right. I'm going to press play. Have fun. Oh, hey, Tammy. Welcome. We're just about to start a sprint, so you're just in time. And see you guys in 30 minutes. Hello. So I've been like slowly kind of just making notes of things for when we have the live show, and I've tabbed off a section where everyone can vent about Wayne, so we don't do it for too long of the live show. There's just going to be a part near the end where everyone can express their wrong opinions about Wayne.
I don't hate him. I don't love him, but like he doesn't make me angry.
I think he's a strong spice and maybe overdone, but I don't mind him.
I mean, this is a very campy Western aesthetic. So people
The
being
more
like,
I read it, the more
he's like a
it's
caricature.
Batman.
I'm like, that's literally what we meant when we said it was campy.
Yeah.
I like Wayne. I mean, sometimes you're like, all right. But most of the time he makes me giggle. So
I think my internal voice just has the perfect like intonation for this series. Like I don't think I could ever listen to an audiobook for it because like I think I play it the right amount of not straight to camp, you know what I mean? Like if you say some of this dialogue completely straight, yeah, sure. Like
I don't want to hear Michael Kramer do their dialogue because I would instantly hate Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh
So, yeah.
man.
Oh, but hey, Fit to be read. I do think we might be done sprinting unless Jess wants to go with me, but I know Jess has been tired and stuff like that, so I don't want to sign her up. And Roger has pizza to eat. So
Yeah, it literally got here just as the timer was running out. I was like, perfect.
So, but I'm happy because this actually like I'm like on page 90. I'm still these chapters are longer than I remember. Is that
Yeah.
which I don't mind, but I'm like, I forgot that he wrote long chapters. Like when I don't read Sanderson very often, I just forget his style.
That's
so like I'm somewhere in chapter 4.
Biggest complaint. See, that's fast, okay? Because what did I get to?
But
I got
you
up through
started at the
chapter
beginning.
3.
I started at chapter 1 at the sprints today.
All right.
I got up through chapter 3. What chapter did you get through chapter 4 or something, Angela?
I'm halfway through chapter 4. Which
So you don't read that fast, or I read a very similar speed because I almost caught up.
I read at a normal speed. I timed it once. Because when you join BookTube, you start to have a complex, right? You start to figure out, what am I reading at? People are reading so many things so fast. And I did one of those, you read segments and it times you and stuff. And I read the normal words per minute. Like the
It's really the audiobooks.
It's the audiobooks.
I'm not a super fast reader and I'm not super slow. And it depends on, the book, if it's a middle grade, whatever. But my thing comes down to the end of the month when I know that people have jobs, they have children, they have all these things. And I'm like, how are you getting all this time? Even when I'm like, if I try to ignore everything in my life, I could read more. But how are y'all doing all these things and still reading? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, for me, like I am a PhD student, so if I'm sitting there at the bench pipetting for 6 hours.
The number of books I've
audiobook.
read while I've watched columns drain, like DNA purification days are like my reading days.
Yeah.
Also, Evie, I already typed it, but thanks for offering. I think I'm good after that sprint too, because I might try the new Sandman show that everyone's raving about.
So good.
I haven't read the graphic novels.
Neither have I.
Okay, because I was wondering how much of it was people being like, this is the best adaptation versus is it good if you don't know the source?
No, I've never read the graphic novels. I remember vaguely trying to read one when I was younger, but I just never got into it.
Yeah, and Ryan's not home, so it's like the perfect time for me to watch a show. He's like been like, I don't know, even though I'm like, everyone's loving it, you will probably love it too. Literally, he's never not liked a show I've shown him because I'm very picky about what I think he'd like, and he still doesn't believe me. It's been 4 years. I don't know.
We watched all 10 episodes twice last weekend, is how much we liked it.
But no, I think that's what I'm going to do. No, I mean, I think the thing is like, so like, because Jessica's talking about speed. It's like, I think for me, it truly is just the time I choose to dedicate, because I can't even do what Elle does, where she can just like marathon a book in 2 days. Like, I have to just like read for 30 minutes at a time, because that's like my focus. And then I need to like take a break, and then I come back, and like it takes me a while.
I tend to do mine in chunks. I tend to do it like as I'm going to bed, because Alex likes to go to bed earlier than me, but we transition to like the bedroom at the same time. So I'll stay up reading because I want to go to the bedroom at like 10, and I'm like, I'm not tired yet, and I'll read for like 2 hours.
There actually was something I read about this, because when I back I feel like my next Science Behind the Magic will be Allomancy, because that's the one I wanted to do a year ago, and I lost steam. Like, the fact that it's blue kind of works with the type of metals that have ferromagnetic properties. Like, it does actually make sense with like a magnetic sense of it. It's interesting, but I also don't visualize when I read, so I just imagine Wax being broody boy a lot of the times. Like, Robert Pattinson would play him, like a 40-year-old
No.
version.
God, no.
I just keep
Please.
forgetting Wax is 42.
Yeah, please, Robert Pattinson. I wish he would disappear. Please.
He was good in Batman. He was very good in Batman.
He was fine. He was not my favorite Batman.
Sure. Well, actually, I would disagree in terms of, like, this was the one movie where I actually liked Batman as a character. Every other time, I'm like, Batman's not the main reason you're watching the movie. At least for me.
Michael,
Who's your favorite Batman?
I don't know. That's hard. I mean, for me, I feel like it's some of the cartoon versions of Batman were my favorite.
That's valid.
But that's because I'm a
I
90s
think-
kid, so growing up with whatever that one was. With his like gray suit and black underwear with a yellow belt, whatever one that was. I think it was voiced by Adam West.
I love Adam West. Adam West is one of my favorites. I love Adam.
I never watched the cartoon ones.
Yeah. So, well, try not to click things. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he made himself. I don't know. He was in Twilight. I believed he loved Bella. I did not believe Bella loved him, but
I believed Bella was chronically constipated.
Those movies, man. I was complaining about some of the YA I didn't like while I was reading. I was complaining about Breaking Dawn earlier today on a Voxer with a friend, because I'm just like, Breaking Dawn was just so bad. Like, I just hated that book when I read it in 2009. Is that when I read that book? I don't know. I just hated it so much. No, yeah, I just thought that was the first time that I actually cared about Batman as a character, and it wasn't about Gotham or the villain or anything like that. Like, I actually was like cool with it. Like, he wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. He's not my favorite Bruce Wayne. That might be Val Kilmer. And that's not even my favorite Batman movie, but yeah.
I don't care about DC really anything that much to. I don't
Michael
know.
Keaton is a good actor.
I like yes, Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's good. Michael Keaton's my favorite villain in the Marvel universe when he was in Spider-Man. I thought he was one of my favorite villains. Sorry, who? Tammy, DNFing before it was cool. Tammy, what are you reading or trying to read or whatever? Because you've already read the new Niveau, so I don't know what you're doing these days. I just know you haven't finished Dandelion Dynasty, and I want you to be able to read that.
Petrick was talking about how, like, in the third book, there's like a 200-page cooking competition in Dandelion Dynasty.
Potentially, I think. I haven't read it, but I have heard that coming around. I think so.
And that made me instantly like, I don't know that I'm going to read that.
I don't know. I mean, when I went to see Ken Liu talk, and he was talking about how the third book bloomed into what it was, and like how, as an author, these characters demanded to have their stories be told. And I know they come in at the end of the third book, and then because they just had to find a port to partition this 2,000-page document into, they just had to pick a spot so it doesn't feel like an ending. So yeah, I don't know. But apparently it's a good cooking competition. I think Ryan's reading The Secret History right now. He's been reading it for like a month and a half, though, and I can't tell if that means it's good or not. Wall of Storm yesterday. See, this is what people say about the second book in the series that I haven't read yet. This is back to Robert Pattinson. Yes, Michael Keaton's awesome. I love him in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is a great movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that. But well, we should stop so Roger can get his food. But thanks everyone for joining. The live show will be in like a week and 2 days, 10 days, I think. I think it's in 10 days.
Yeah, 22nd.
It's the 22nd. It's on Monday. And it'll be wonderful. It's on a Monday, yes.
I mean, Evie, I don't know if that's a selling point or because
it's on a Monday
taste
because
I can never nail down.
What'd you say?
Oh, Evie's talking about how Leanna loved The Veiled Throne, and I'm like, well, I don't know if that's like a positive or because her reading taste Her and Deshauna, I have a hard time like nailing down what specifically they like, because even if I think everything in it should be what they like, they'll be like the writing style, and I'm like, okay.
I was trying to get Leanna to read the first binding because I wanted her to put into words what I could not about what I don't like about the writing style. Because normally, if I don't like something, Leanna's going to throw it at the wall. Like that's normally what happens. I still can't figure out our taste because we both like Winter Night, Jemison, and Greenbone Saga, but then like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that like we don't align with. We also both like Hobb, but like she hates Sanderson. Well, not hate's a strong word, but Sanderson's usually a 2 or 3 star experience for her. So I don't know. Beetlejuice is really fun.
It
has a very young Alec Baldwin. It's very weird. Yes, Tammy, please. I just want to know if everyone's been giving it rave reviews, and I just felt like, what? Are we reading the same book? It was like when I tried to read Malice. Like, I just truly felt like I wasn't reading the same book as other people. I was having issues. So
I want to try the first binding, but it's also very chunky. And I don't want to go buy it. So, and my library doesn't have it yet, so we'll see.
Ooh,
Eventually.
send me your address, and I'll media mail you the ARC I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just spend the $3 and give you this book that I was going to just put in a free library anyways.
Okay. So. You can go to my free library. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not allowed to sell it, but I can just give it to people. So.
Sweet.
Do you have Nigel nearby, Jess? You know the people love Nigel.
No. So here where I'm staying, they have 2 other dogs, and the chaos is unmatched. And so he's out there. He's in his kennel right now.
Okay, I mean, that's very fair.
They're just like anything they hear, they start barking, and then he starts barking, and they're all running, and I'm just like, why? And so I don't get as much cuddle time with him anymore because anything
Chaos.
they do, he's like, I've got to follow. And I'm like, good kid, nice play. So
Your quiet boy's all rambunctious now. Also, Tammy, stop hating on Davabad. Shush. It's a good series. It's a fun time.
I rebuke it.
Well, I mean, I will say Davabad's not like my top 10 series of all time, but I had fun with it. I had a good time. Have you read Davabad, Roger? Okay.
No, I've been thinking about it. My Hoopla has the audiobooks of it, but I haven't heard anybody talking about whether or not the audio is any good.
Their audiobooks are fantastic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I read this.
To them to reread.
The narrator is one of my favorites, and it's multi-point of view, but it's very obvious which point of view head you're in. So
okay, maybe that will be the book that I do, because right now I'm supposed to be setting Royal Assassin as my next audio, but I keep putting it off because
it's Royal Assassin.
So maybe I'll just skip it and go for City of Brass and then circle back before my hold runs out, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just let it go back into the ether from which it came.
I have DNF books like that. I'm like, oops, my hold ran out. Oh. And I just don't get it back.
Also, if these are his Dark Materials new books, I have not. They terrify me. And so I choose...
Like the Book of Dust. I own the first one. I haven't read it.
They scare me because it's a perfect trilogy. I don't need more. I don't want it. I'm scared. And it's not finished yet, is it? I don't think the third one's out.
No, there's 2 out.
I wish I loved it.
I'm not like, if I read an extension of something, if something was finished and I read an extension and I don't like it, it doesn't like ruin the original for me. I'm just like, oh, never mind. But some people are like, oh, it ruined such and such for me. And I'm like, I don't get it.
It doesn't ruin for me, but it makes me much more hesitant to get into it because I have such high expectations. Like that's me with Dragons of Deceit that just came out, which is like a new Dragonlance book, like the first one in 15 years. And it has like cameos from a bunch of the original cast from the original trilogy. And I'm like, we'll see.
Should I? Yeah. I have those first 2, Book of Dust and something, and I'm like,
something, The Secret of Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I have one of them. I have the first one that's like a blue cover.
Yeah.
But I'm more likely to reread his Dark Materials than read the new ones in the near future. That's what's more likely to happen. But that is it. We should say bye because pizza's going to get cold and I don't want to. So I'm going to end this podcast. Bye, everyone.